Welcome to this first Memorial Day recess episode of Pressers by FedNet, the only podcast of news conferences from the United States Congress. Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania and Michigan colleague Debbie Dingell led this May 19th news conference with cancer survivors and others to discuss the Knockout Cancer Act, which aims to increase National Cancer Institute funding by 25% annually over 5 years and address drug shortages. The following material is protected by copyright.
All right, we'll get this rolling. We want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you to Congresswoman Dingell for your continued partnership and leadership on not only this bill, but your shared commitment to families facing cancer across America. Thank you as well to Jennifer Pager of the Association of American Cancer Institutes for your advocacy, your expertise, and your continued work to strengthen America's cancer research enterprise. And a very special thanks to Bucks County's own Tom Moran. You always want to be on the right side of Tom when it comes to fighting a legislative cause. He is a fearless advocate for those fighting cancer. His leadership, his persistence, and his heart help bring our coalition together. Tom is a perfect example of how one person can make a difference, not just by raising awareness, but by moving people, moving policy, and moving our country closer to a cure. And we're also honored to be joined by Tim Witherspoon Jr., David Rowan, Brian O'Sullivan, and the advocates, survivors, patients, families, researchers, and caregivers who are here today for one purpose: to help America finally KO cancer. We have lost more than 15 million Americans to cancer since the year 2000. And this is not just a statistic. That is 15 million empty chairs at dinner tables, 15 million families whose lives are changed forever, 15 million reasons why complacency is not an option. And like most other Americans, cancer has touched my own family as well. My big brother, Tom's friend, Mike Fitzpatrick, who we sadly lost. My mother and my sister, both breast cancer survivors, and far too many others I have known and loved have been impacted by this terrible disease. Cancer is not abstract, it is personal, and it remains one of the greatest threats to American life. Our national response must rise to meet that reality. We cannot treat a crisis of this magnitude with complacency, underinvestment, or delay, and that's why the KO Cancer Act matters. This legislation does two essential things. First, it makes a serious strategic investment in the science that saves lives by calling for a 25% annual increase in funding to the National Cancer Institute over 5 years. That means strengthening the research pipeline. It means accelerating discovery. It means giving our scientists, physicians, and cancer centers the tools they need to develop better treatments, earlier detection, and ultimately cures. And second, it takes direct aim at the crisis that should never happen in the United States of America, and that is cancer drug shortages. No family should ever wonder whether a supply chain failure will stand between their loved one and life-saving care. And no doctor should be forced to ration hope because of Washington has failed to act. And no patient should ever lose time because science was underfunded or medicine was not available. We have the finest researchers, the strongest cancer centers, the most innovative medical minds, and the most determined advocates anywhere on this planet. But leadership does not sustain itself. It requires investment, it requires urgency, and it requires Congress to match the courage of every patient in this fight with action worthy of their struggle. So today, during National Cancer Research Month, our message is simple. We must invest in science, fix the shortages, support the patients, and never stop fighting for cures that families are counting on. To my colleagues, I say this is not a partisan issue. Cancer does not care what party you belong to. It reaches into every community, every family, and every other corner of this country. Our response must be just as broad, just as determined, and just as relentless. And to our advocates, I say keep pressing your elected officials in this town and in towns across America to support advancing research in cancer treatment. And I will say it again, we have lost more than 15 million Americans to cancer since the year 2000. We cannot bring them back, but we can honor them by fighting harder for those still in the fight, by investing in cures, fixing the failures that delay care, and refusing to accept cancer as an inevitability. And that is the mission of the KO Cancer Act. And that's why we're here today. And that is why we will continue to use every tool at our disposal to win this fight. And with that, I want to bring up to the mic here a true champion and a true friend in the fight against cancer, Representative Debbie Dingell of Michigan.
Thank you, Brian. And I can't tell you how lucky I am to just have Brian as my friend and my brother. And when he is in a fight, he's in the fight to win. He cares deeply about health care. And both cancer for him and I is deeply personal. And I'm so honored to be here with everybody behind me. And this really matters. Everything that Brian said today is it's so critical. And I want to thank every patient who's had cancer, every survivor, and every advocate with us. And everybody out there that is watching during National Cancer Research Month. Right now, over 18 million people, just Americans, are living with cancer in this country. This disease remains the second leading cause of death in our country. And yet, patients, this is what's really outrageous, this nation are facing dangerous shortages of the drugs they need to keep fighting. It's unacceptable, and something's got to be done. I mean, I had women who had ovarian cancer, women who had breast cancer, men with prostate cancer. There are drugs that they need, and they can't get them. Unacceptable. So our answer is the very bipartisan Knockout Cancer Act. Here is the reality, and Brian said it. Cancer doesn't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, where you live, what the color of your skin is. It just is going to find you. This legislation will increase funding for the National Cancer Institute by 25% every year for the next 5 years, making it one of the most significant proposed investments in cancer research in recent history. It also calls on the Department of Health and Human Services to identify the root cause of cancer drug shortages and to deliver real solutions, because patients have been waiting long enough. And quite frankly, the shortage is causing people to die. And in the United States of America, that's unacceptable to me. We've made incredible strides in our fight against cancer, but we still need more investment and sustained commitment. And as Brian said, it was in his family. My husband died of prostate bone cancer. I was with the family today of Chad Carr, who got DIPG and died at 3 years old. Children shouldn't be dying. Women shouldn't be dying. Men shouldn't be dying. We should be investing to keep this disease from killing people. So while we've made incredible strides, we still need more investment. So at this time, why are we doing this when research funding is under threat? We got to be loud and clear about what's at stake. Every dollar we can put into this fight counts. Every dollar means a treatment provided, a research trial run, and a family that gets more time with somebody that they love. This is a fight we can all get behind. It's time to knock out cancer, so let's go get it done. Am I introducing, or are you doing that?
I got it.
Good
job. Thank you, Debbie. True hero, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. And now I want to bring to the podium the Director of AACI, Jennifer Pegger.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Pegger. I'm Executive Director of the Association of American Cancer Institutes. AACI represents over 100 cancer centers nationwide that are translating promising research findings into tomorrow's cures. On behalf of AACI and our members, I would like to thank Representatives Brian Fitzpatrick and Debbie Dingell for their bold leadership and bipartisan collaboration. I'd also like to express our gratitude to Tom Moran for bringing us together today in support of the Knockout Cancer Act. If you told me 20 years ago I'd be at an event with the brother of Congressman Mike Fitzpatrick and the wife of Congressman John Dingell, I wouldn't have believed I would be in the company of such prestigious leaders. This bill underscores the power of unity in the fight against cancer. The timing couldn't be better. As Congressman Fitzpatrick and Congresswoman Dingell noted, it is National Cancer Research Month. This gives us an ideal opportunity to reflect on decades of progress against cancer while looking ahead to what the future holds. As the most comprehensive bill of its kind since the Cancer Moonshot, the KO Cancer Act dares us to dream big. Ambitious legislation like this is critical to accelerating progress against cancer. The bill outlines strategies to address drug shortages and improve access to life-saving treatments, both important priorities to AACI cancer centers. These cancer centers are committed to eliminating barriers at all points of the cancer care continuum. It would also allocate a 25% funding increase to the National Cancer Institute every year for the next 5 years, a powerful funding boost that could impact millions of Americans. Thanks to research supported by the NCI, we've seen a 34% decrease in cancer deaths over the past 30 years alone in the United States. Over 18.6 million cancer survivors are living in the United States. NCI-funded research has also led to advances in mRNA technology that are improving the odds for patients with pancreatic cancer, precision medicine that matches patients with customized treatments, and early detection tools that help diagnose cancer when it's easiest and less costly to treat. Many more life-saving discoveries are on the horizon, and the KO Cancer Act will help bring them one step closer to fruition. Thank you to Congresswoman Dingell, Congressman Fitzpatrick, and Mr. Moran. Now let's go knock out cancer.
Thank you, Jen. Next, the indomitable Hibernian, the indomitable, ferocious fighter against cancer, Bucks County's own, the one and only Tom Moran.
Thank you, Brian. I've known Brian for pretty much most of his life. I'm a little bit older than Brian. I knew his brother Michael very well. I managed professional boxers for a long time, and I learned what it was like to stand up to people like Don King and fight for your fighter. But I've never been in a fight like this. And what I realized, the one thing that I'm an expert at watching people I love die of cancer. And that hits me in the gut because I lost my wife, my mother, my father, and my younger sister to cancer. And I said, why? Where is the research? And then I understood it had to be done something. I have a good friend, David Rowan, whose mother was a massive cancer philanthropist. His stepfather, Sidney Kimmel. Sidney Kimmel, on the other side of the Capitol, in 1998, had a cancer march on Washington, and Sidney Kimmel turned around and looked at the Capitol and said, "Good God, what the hell are we waiting for on cancer research?" And here we are, 28 years later, and we're still waiting. I know Brian and Debbie Dingell, they've done a wonderful thing. Brian has introduced this bill a couple times, and we all have distractions, and I have my distraction of things I had to do where I couldn't follow up with it. But it's done now. I have to do this. I have to give it everything I have. But the reason I have a hat on and sunglasses, I have to be something I've never been before. A guy called Cancer Punk. And Cancer Punk is somebody that will not settle until we actually do something. It's to help these people so that they get the background. Because it's absurd right now when we're talking about an administration that says $9 million for cancer research, and even the $128 million got happy. The bottom line is, it's not enough. We all know what the cure is. The cure is research. Let's just do the research. We don't have to build bottom up. We need to give researchers, scientists. We have brilliant, brilliant minds in this country. We need to support them. We need to reward them. I talk to doctors when I go with David for treatment, and it ends up what happens is they all say the same thing. We're scared. We're worried. We can't get enough. And when I realized the cure for my wife's cancer, is actually here now. It's 15 years too late for me. 15 years. Every time we don't do it, people die. And it's very simple. I want to show you something right here. And this is basically, that's how many Americans die every single day. 1,726 Americans die every single day. And we're going to pick them all up. Don't worry about it. It doesn't take long to pick them up. But the reality of it is, what do we have to do? And to me, this is what art activism is. I want to do something out in Area 1 where we do something, whether it's a ghost dance or whether any which way we can to help these people get it through. Because I know they're good people like Brian and Congresswoman Dingell that will want to push this. But we have to do more. This is absurd. When you look at that number, that's mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, wives, husbands, kids, young, every race, every nationality. It's everybody. What are we waiting for? And they can't do it on their own. They need us to go out and do something. And I know this every time we try to get people involved. People want to get involved, but cancer's one of those issues where we all see it, we all know it. And every one of us is one diagnosis away from having the biggest fight of our lives. And all I'm saying is, we need to do something. Let's do something. And when you hear cancer punk, some crazy guy that thinks we should triple cancer research, yeah, and I believe that out on the front line, I've said this to Brian. Brian's been a friend a long time. Brian and people can work on the inside. I want to work on the outside where we can do things. When they had the AIDS quilt out there, well, guess what? I think we need to have a KO cancer pain painting. We need to have KO cancer ghost dances where we honor the 15 million that are gone. I appreciate every support that we get from people, and my heart and my passion is in it. And I really respect Brian so much for it. And Jennifer, I love your group and everything you do. The people you represent are the scientists that we should be supporting. They shouldn't have to come to us and beg. And you know, one of the things I've realized is that scientists are brilliant minds and everything. They're not good lobbyists. Because when you think 15 million Americans have died of cancer, and we're talking about penny research, it's like budget dust. You give budget dust to cancer, and here's cancer killing us. What are we waiting for? Thank you.
All right, good job, Tom.
I want to just, the next one up is my friend.
Well,
Okay,
no, we got an order here. So, next up, another Bucks County, Pennsylvania native who is a world champion in his own right, Tim Witherspoon Jr.
Hello. For everyone that doesn't know me, my name is Tim Witherspoon Jr. Like Congressman Fitzpatrick said, I'm a Bucks County native. And I'm here because I am a member of the community that owns a gym that is affected by cancer every day. First, before I get into that, though, I want to thank Brian Fitzpatrick and the lawmakers that we have here for their efforts in cancer research and bipartisanship. For my family, this is personal. We are a family of fighters, and my dad has taught me to stand up for what is right, as many boxers before us have. And cancer is something that has affected our family personally. When me and my father were away for one of my training camps, my older sister's mother passed away from pancreatic cancer, and I was unable to come back and console my sister. So this fight is much bigger than just coming out here and talking. This fight is to help people that I know every day that are struggling in our community, that I see in my gym, that I see at our school. I'm also an elected school board. One more thing I got to thank the congressman for is he gave me a Congressional Award of Honor for the work that I've done in our community. But it's not over. As my mentor here, Tom, has said, there's 1,700 people that die every day from cancer, and that's unacceptable. We cannot afford to have that many people sick and dying every day. It costs us more to treat those people than to do the research. It just doesn't make sense for me. I'm not going to take too much of your time because we have more speakers, but at the end of the day, we all know right from wrong. We all know what fight we should be fighting, and let's do it together. Let's KO cancer. Thank you.
And next up, a incredibly courageous cancer warrior who's been such an inspiration to Tom and me and all of us, David Rowan.
Thank Thank you, Brian. Hi, I won't take up much time either. My mom was a 3-time cancer survivor, and it first happened when I was 7 or 8 years old. So cancer's been a concept in my life for most of my life. I've been working with Tom against this. I'm not going to name the bank, but I was ripped up. My inheritance from my mother for tens of millions of dollars was taken away, and I'm trying to use. We've been fighting this battle with we just call it the big bad bank. We needed seed money, my money, and the big bank was $15,000 just to get some seed money for the KO Cancer website and posters, things we need. And the bank refused. Again, back to when Tom mentioned my stepdad, Sidney Kimmel, for over 30 years. I'm asking him, I'm taking his line saying, good God, what the hell are we waiting for? Cancer could be killing me right now. I have to go to the hospital. I get scared when I was diagnosed. There's no scarier moment in your life than to be diagnosed with the treatment is horrendous. Every pill I take every day is almost $1,300. And there's just something wrong with our health system. This administration's more concerned with buying weapons and taking over countries and building unnecessary landmarks they don't deserve. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but we know who we're talking about. And I just think it's insane that Congress can't push. Tom says triple it, I say quadruple it. I just can't believe or how embarrassing I'd feel as a congressman not being able to pass the KO Cancer Act. I don't know what else to say, but I did my best. So thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Debbie and Claire.
Good job.
Thanks, Brian.
Good job, David. We love you and we're proud of you. And last up, cancer survivor Brian O'Sullivan.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to share my story because this is deeply personal to me. In January 2021, I thought the pandemic was over. I was ready to go back to work. And a few months later in May, after a routine physical and random blood work, even though I had absolutely no symptoms whatsoever, I heard the words that changed my life forever. You have stage 4 mantle cell lymphoma, something I tell people, and they say, I never heard of that. I said, well, I wish I never did either, but, that's where I'm at. It's like, so surprised. I didn't get COVID, I got cancer. So one of my oncologists wanted me on a newer targeted treatment he believed was the best option, but my insurance company said no. Because of step therapy, I was basically told I had to fail the older chemotherapy first. And as patients, we should not have to fight the insurance company harder than we fight the cancer itself. But that's exactly what happened to me. While treatment was being denied, my blood work got worse, my cancer numbers got worse, and mentally I got worse. Depression, anxiety, and the financial toxicity that comes with cancer, bills, explanation of benefits with terrifying dollar amounts, and the fear that even if cancer didn't kill me, the cost might destroy everything I worked for. So I was struck knowing treatment existed, but I couldn't get it. So there were nights at 3 o'clock in the morning when I was curled up in a fetal position, convinced my mother was going to have to bury her son, her youngest. Even at 50 years old, I was still my mother's youngest child. That's what fear does. That's what cancer does. That's what financial toxicity does. So, and yes, some of you might be wondering, why is this guy wearing a sequin jacket? I lived in a world of darkness back then, real darkness, and I promised myself I made it through. I wasn't staying there. So now I just try to light it up every day because being alive is worth celebrating. Thankfully, oncologist number 3 connected me to a clinical trial at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. And I say this every chance I get. A clinical trial saved my life. My family and I will be forever grateful. And here's the amazing part. The treatment I received worked so well, it eventually became FDA approved as a frontline treatment for mantle cell lymphoma. And that's why research matters. That's why clinical trials matter. That's why access matters. No patient should be denied their best chance to live because of an insurance policy. So this is now my third time in Washington, D.C. sharing my story with policymakers. And I truly hope to see meaningful change in my lifetime, because these aren't policy discussions. They're real people, real families, real lives. I'm alive because people fought for patients like me. So thank you. I just keep paying it forward every day. Thank you. Thank you again.
Good job, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Say one thing.
Sure can.
I want to thank Brian's staff, because Brian's staff, especially Claire, has been so wonderful helping. And I know I can be a pain in the butt, not wanting to, saying, "Hey, I want triple in the bill." But to me, these people, the people that on the staff, are the people that make things happen. And I appreciate so much what Brian has done. And sometimes I have a problem call him congressman and get dressed the way I do. But my attitude is, you couldn't have a better congressman looking out for all these people with cancer. And I appreciate, Jennifer, your group. Hopefully your group can be the people that send people here when we do these big events. Because if we put those people out front, my thing is Area 1.
That'll be next, Tom.
Area 1. When we fill Area 1, that's it. This is over.
The next event is out.
The
next event is out front there.
We
That's
fill
right.
Area 1. Let's fill Area 1.
In honor of your father-in-law,
Thank
right? Your stepfather. All right. National Cancer Awareness Month requires all of us to reset, refocus every single day. Every single day. The richest country in the world should not have this. That's right. The most innovative country in the world with the most brilliant scientists with virtually limitless wealth should never have to deal with this. And it's impacted all of our lives. So just want to thank people who are here covering it. This is being live streamed. And Tom, we're going to share this. There are 435 congressional districts. We need 290 out of the 435 to sign the bill. If they do, it gets forced on the floor. That's all we need is 2/3 of the House, and this should be an easy cause to get behind. So,
and what we're going to do is we're going to do some KO Cancer special gloves. This is not them. I want to autograph them for Brian so you can always remember, because boxing's been part of my life forever with world champions. And what I want to do is the first 100 co-sponsors of the KO Cancer Act are going to get customized KO Cancer boxing gloves. And here's the thing about those boxing gloves, because there's only going to be 100 sets. Those first 100 people got to get on board, because they're collector's items when the bill gets passed.
That's right.
It's only 100.
That's
all
right.
God bless you, Brian.
Thanks, bud. All right, any questions? Any questions, anybody? No? All right, thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Unauthorized reproduction, distribution, or use of this episode without expressed written permission from FedNet is prohibited. Thanks for listening to this FedNet podcast.